I washed her clothes for 10 years, fed her dog for 10 years, only for her to sleep with other men, and call me a buy one get one free deal, but she didn't know that I was no longer the loser, who used to kneel at the Evans estate gates on Valentine's Day. I wanted to go home early and spend a cozy time with Chloe Evans. As I was fully immersed in work, a notification from my phone caught my attention. I opened my phone to an extremely explicit photo, accompanied by a provocative message: "Your wife has a great body. We went for 6 hours today." I thought I would be heartbroken, that I would want to cry, but in reality, I felt a strange calm, looking at the cake and gift I had prepared for Chloe Evans. I tossed them into the trash can without a second thought. When I got home from work, I opened the door and immediately saw torn black stockings discarded on the floor. From inside the room, I could hear Chloe Evans and another man laughing. I was certain that Chloe Evans had heard me open the door the moment I stepped inside, but she didn't stop immediately. Instead, she continued to entangle herself with the man. As if that wasn't enough, the man picked up Chloe Evans and continued their embrace in a spot where I could clearly see them. Chloe Evans had spent nights with other men before, but never so brazenly in front of me. Everyone knew Chloe Evans detested being Mrs. Evans. The man showed no surprise when he saw me. Instead, he provocatively kissed Chloe Evans, as if showing off. Chloe Evans ignored my presence, tilted her head back to look at the man, and said with an expression of adoration, "Babe, your stamina is amazing. I love it." The man smirked and slapped her backside, a wide smirk spreading across his face. "Glad you like it," he said. Chloe Evans' joyful sounds echoed in my ears. I turned and left. An hour later, Chloe Evans and the man finally finished. That hour felt as long as a century to me, and it completely shattered my heart. After the man left, Chloe Evans rubbed her temples. Her eyes were filled with displeasure. "What's with that expression?" she said. "You know I need to relax when I am out of inspiration, and it's all your fault. You couldn't pique my interest at all, which is why I went looking for other men." Chloe Evans was a painter, somewhat well known in the art world. Plus, she was attractive, which meant many men were interested in Chloe Evans. Secretly, Chloe Evans had always been flirting with these men, and I just turned a blind eye. Later, Chloe Evans began associating with those men even more brazenly, and whenever I got angry, she would always brush me off with the excuse of seeking inspiration. My marriage to Chloe Evans had been arranged by Mr. and Mrs. Evans. My parents had both died trying to save Mr. and Mrs. Evans, and to compensate me, Mr. and Mrs. Evans raised me as their own son. Mr. and Mrs. Evans arranged our marriage. Chloe Evans, however, resented me for it. She blamed me for influencing her parents and stealing her freedom. To make it up to Chloe Evans, I always tried my best to fulfill her demands. Even before we were married, Chloe Evans would deliberately call me in the middle of the night to bring them condoms while she was having intimate moments with other men, all to discourage me from marrying her. She even made me brave the cold to deliver breakfast to a man she desired, even when I had a high fever. The night before I was to tell Mr. and Mrs. Evans about cancelling the engagement, Chloe Evans, uncharacteristically, called me. She asked me not to call off our wedding, explaining that she was pregnant, and the child's father had already vanished without a trace. She didn't want to abort the child, and asked me to be the father. I initially refused, but Chloe Evans pleaded with me again and again. It wasn't easy for a woman to raise a child alone, and Mr. and Mrs. Evans had been good to me. After an internal struggle, I finally agreed to help Chloe Evans. During our marriage, I always tried my utmost to treat Chloe Evans well. If she said west, I wouldn't dare go east. I originally thought that after so many years of marriage, Chloe Evans would eventually fall in love with me, but it was just a beautiful dream I'd created, and the reality was that Chloe Evans didn't love me. Now that I'd woken up from the dream, it was time for me to leave. Looking at Chloe Evans, who was lying on my lap, waiting for me to attend to her, I slowly said, "Chloe Evans, let's get a divorce." Chloe's dismissive words floated into my ears. "Just because of that man, you want a divorce?" I nodded, yes. No matter how far Chloe Evans had gone before, I had never brought up divorce. This was the only time. Chloe Evans looked somewhat incredulous. "Ethan Hayes, are you really going to be like this?" Chloe Evans was certain she had me completely cornered, believing I would never leave. When she saw my firm nod again, she irritably scratched her head. "Ethan Hayes, you don't actually think I like you, do you? If it weren't for my parents owing you, I would never have married you." I pulled out the divorce papers I had already prepared, and Chloe Evans signed them without even looking. After signing, she viciously flung them at my face. Ethan Hayes, you wanted this divorce, so don't come crying back to me. After Chloe Evans took a shower, she came out of the bathroom and saw that I had already packed all my luggage. She inexplicably became agitated and yanked out the clothes I had packed. She glared at me. These are clothes I bought for you. If you have the guts, don't take them with you. My hand paused as I packed. Then I unhesitatingly pulled out the only piece of clothing Chloe Evans had bought for me from the suitcase. This was a dress shirt that Mr. and Mrs. Evans had forced Chloe Evans to buy for me on my birthday. Even though I knew Chloe Evans hadn't truly wanted to give me a birthday gift, I still kept this shirt like a cherished possession, deep inside my wardrobe, unable to bring myself to wear it. I had just been tidying my clothes, and happened to have taken this dress shirt out. After double-checking that there was nothing Chloe Evans had bought among my things, I tucked my important passport and ID card into my bag. Once everything was packed, I looked up and asked Chloe Evans, "Can I leave now?" Chloe Evans' face darkened, and she said impatiently, "If you leave now, don't ever come begging me to reconcile." I walked around her and headed straight for the door. Just as I was about to walk out of the room, Chloe Evans made a call behind me. Deliberately putting it on speakerphone, a man's voice came from the other end of the line. "Sweetheart, calling me so late. Is something wrong?" Chloe Evans' sugary voice replied, "Darling, I missed you tonight. I'll send you the address. Come over and stay with me." She thought I would stop leaving, but I closed the door without a moment's hesitation. I no longer cared. Who she chose to be intimate with was none of my business. From inside, Chloe Evans seemed to have thrown something against the door. It hit with a loud crash. Chloe Evans' slightly angered voice came from behind the door. "Ethan Hayes, don't you dare regret this. Even if you kneel and beg me later, I won't want to be with you." Soon after, I received a call from my son, Kyle Evans. The moment I answered, I heard Kyle's ranting voice. "Hayes, did you piss off my mom again? Who do you think you are, daring to make my mom angry? Don't think I'll ever acknowledge you as my dad again." I gave a bitter laugh. Though Kyle was my child in name, he was actually Chloe Evans' son with another man. But ever since Kyle was born, I had raised him as my own son. Fearing Kyle might fall behind others, I spared no expense to provide him with the best of everything. When Kyle was little, Chloe Evans found him smelly and refused to care for him, dumping him on me. If I suggested hiring a nanny, Chloe Evans would worry and lecture me about fulfilling a father's responsibilities. I often rushed home from work to take care of him. Kyle, you could say, was a child I had single-handedly raised from infancy. Like Chloe Evans, Kyle also looked down on me. No matter how sincerely I treated them, I couldn't earn their genuine affection in return. It just goes to show, no matter how you raise them, non-biological children never truly bond. "Fine, as you wish. I am no longer your dad." There was a pause of several seconds on the other end, as Kyle clearly hadn't expected me to say that. "From today on, you are free." Kyle had a severe skin condition. His skin would flare up from heavily flavored foods, or from touching slightly rough fabrics. For his safety, I strictly managed his life. Kyle, however, despised me for it. Kyle's mocking voice came through the phone. "Hayes, whatever you say is just to get my MOMS and my attention. We're not falling for your tricks. If you have any guts, you'd better never show your face to us again. But knowing your worthless self, he'll probably come begging for me and mom in a few days. Please, just stay away from us. You're a nuisance to look at." With that, Kyle hung up without hesitation. I moved into my own apartment complex. For several days, apart from work, I enjoyed a relatively relaxed life. I received an invitation for a good friend's birthday. I was a bit annoyed that I had been so focused on work these past few days, that I had completely forgotten my friend's birthday. After picking out what I thought my friend might like as a gift, I rushed to the bar where we had agreed to meet. Before I even saw Sophia King, I ran into Chloe Evans' friend, Ashley. She was heavily drunk, and when she saw me, she was both surprised and delighted. "Ethan," she slurred, "you're here for Chloe, aren't you?" She ignored my repeated denials and, calling over others, forcefully dragged and pushed me into the private room ahead. The moment I entered, I heard Chloe Evans say, "Ethan Hayes, just a 2-day fling." Then I got bored. If my parents hadn't forced me into this marriage, I would have dumped him long ago. This drew loud laughter from everyone. She had an innocent-looking boy leaning against her in her arms. The boy, eager to please, fed Chloe Evans mouth to mouth. When they saw me, everyone seemed a bit surprised. It was Chloe Evans' friend, Ashley, who broke the silence. "See? I told you Ethan couldn't bear to leave our Chloe. Look, he even brought a gift to find Chloe." The person behind me, taking the opportunity, pushed me forward. "Ethan, if you don't mind me saying, a woman as exceptional as our Chloe is someone many men would fight tooth and nail just to get a glimpse of. If you don't start treating Chloe well, someone might snatch her away, and then it'll be too late for you to regret it." Chloe Evans looked at me with disdain. "Ethan Hayes, I know you didn't mean to. I'll let it slide this time. Just kneel and apologize to me, and I'll forgive you." After hearing Chloe Evans' words, everyone else wore contemptuous smiles. Waiting for the show to begin, she made the boy get out of her arms and beckoned to me like a dog. "Come here, get on your knees, and well, let this go." Hearing this, the crowd started to egg me on. "Ethan, Chloe's given you an out, what are you hesitating for? Hurry up." They thought I would be sobbing uncontrollably as I admitted my mistakes to Chloe Evans. Under their expectant gazes, I walked toward Chloe Evans, picked up the red wine nearby, and unhesitatingly splashed it on her. "Are you sober now?" The group behind me couldn't believe I dared to do that. They all gasped. "If you didn't hear me clearly that day, I'll say it again, in front of everyone. Chloe Evans, we're divorced." With that, I turned and left. Behind me, Chloe Evans was so enraged she furiously overturned the fruit platter and furiously yelled, "Ethan Hayes, I'd like to see how he'll survive without me." Unexpectedly, I ran into Sophia King on my way home. She was my first love from when I studied abroad. She looked more mature than before. But when she looked at me, she couldn't hide the sadness in her eyes. She looked at me and spoke, "Have you been drinking?" She seemed a little disappointed as she asked me again, "Why didn't you tell me about my mother seeking you out?" Mrs. King had looked for me 3 years ago. It was then that I discovered she was the long-lost child of the wealthiest man. She advised me to leave Sophia King, as an engagement had already been arranged for Sophia King to solidify their family's influence. I broke up with Sophia King, and that was also the year I completely gave up hope. I knew clearly that I was no longer worthy of her, so I left. That same year, Chloe Evans repeatedly showed interest in me, and I gradually fell in love with her. Sophia King grabbed my wrist, gripping it tightly, and said with a hint of stubbornness, "Did you ever ask for my opinion?" She seemed to be holding something back. "Did you ever consider my feelings?" I looked up and saw Sophia King's face, filled with disappointment and a shattered expression, and my heart clenched painfully. "I know you've divorced that woman." My eyelashes trembled, and I asked in surprise, "How do you know?" I hadn't expected Sophia King to have been observing me from the shadows. Sophia King's eyes filled with glistening tears. I believed she had never forgotten me, and had waited a long time for this moment. Sophia King didn't answer my question, but looked directly at me. "That's not important. Ethan Hayes, let's start over. What do you say?" My heart suddenly felt warm, as if filled with something, and I couldn't resist embracing her tightly. "Thank you for still loving me, for never giving up on me." In the corner she couldn't see, my eyes had welled up. Every day with Sophia King after that was filled with happiness. After work, Sophia King jogged over to me, her eyes sparkling with joyful laughter. I caught her in my arms, spun around a few times, and then set her down. "Get in, my princess. I am taking you out for a fancy dinner tonight." After dinner, I took Sophia King shopping for clothes. I just hadn't expected to run into Chloe Evans at the boutique. Halfway through picking out clothes, Sophia King stepped out to take a call. I was just coming out of the dressing room when I came face to face with Chloe Evans, who had just arrived. When Chloe Evans saw me, a flicker of triumph crossed her eyes. "Ethan Hayes, I can't believe you're this kind of person, lurking here even when I am just trying to shop." They seemed to have just arrived, with a sales assistant guiding them. Next to her stood a plump, middle-aged man. Chloe Evans used to say she disliked my physique, but now she liked someone greasy. It seems it wasn't my physique she disliked, but my money, or lack thereof. The middle-aged man placed his hand suggestively on Chloe Evans' waist, even deliberately slapping her backside in front of me. He squinted at me. "Is he that worthless ex-husband you mentioned?" Chloe Evans, with a cigarette between her lips, explained to the middle-aged man with great contempt, "A broke, pathetic ex-husband, who pretends to be above it all." Chloe Evans never cared about me. She didn't even pay attention to my career. She had no idea that I was actually a pioneer in agricultural technology innovation, and the CEO of the largest agricultural company. Thanks to my cultivation methods, many fruits and vegetables had significantly improved in quality, not only able to survive harsh natural conditions, but also boasting superior quality compared to the general market. This gave my company immense competitiveness, making it the top agricultural technology enterprise globally. After hearing Chloe Evans' dismissive introduction of me, the man's gaze became even more mocking. He turned to the sales assistant beside him and asked, "Aren't you supposed to be the most high-end boutique here? How do you let just any riffraff in?" He then eyed my expensive clothes, and with a hint of schadenfreude, told the sales assistant, "His outfit isn't cheap, he's broke and pretends to be sophisticated. Chloe, you absolutely mustn't pay for this kind of man." Chloe Evans glanced at me dismissively. "I don't just pay for anyone," she turned to warn the sales assistant. "You should keep a close eye on this man. He's from a small town, his first time in a high-end place like this. If he can't pay, he might try to steal something." The sales assistant was still a young woman, and Chloe Evans and her companion's words made her look awkward and uncomfortable. I, however, saw right through Chloe Evans' petty intentions. I calmly adjusted my clothes and said faintly, "Chloe Evans, what makes you so confident that I would let you pay for me? Stop looking at people with your prejudiced view." Hearing that, Chloe Evans looked at me with even greater disdain. "Ethan Hayes, I know you're trying every trick to get my attention." She paused deliberately, certain that I would humble myself and beg for reconciliation, just as I had before. "It's still the same offer, Ethan Hayes. As long as you kneel down and apologize to me in front of everyone, I'll forgive you, and everything will be forgotten." My lips twitched. When someone is truly speechless, they really do feel like laughing. The sales assistant seemed to have heard enough. Just as she was about to speak up for me, Sophia King returned. Sophia King walked directly to my side. Her well-tailored clothes accentuated Sophia King's perfect figure, making her appear both elegant and powerful. Sophia King was almost half a head taller than Chloe Evans. If Chloe Evans was merely strikingly beautiful, then Sophia King was truly breathtaking, a timeless beauty. The man next to Chloe Evans, upon seeing Sophia King and realizing I had a connection to her, immediately wiped his brow nervously, remembering how he'd mocked me. His haughty expression vanished as he respectfully greeted Sophia King. "Ms. King." Sophia King nodded slightly, not even bothering to give the man a glance. Sophia King looked at Chloe Evans, her voice cool. "Miss Evans, aren't you being a bit presumptuous? Has Ethan Hayes ever mentioned wanting to reconcile with you? Or is it that you have so little presence that you need to belittle others to feel superior?" Chloe Evans scoffed disdainfully after hearing Sophia King's words. She openly scrutinized Sophia King with utter contempt in her eyes. "I am the famous painter Chloe Evans. Who the hell are you? Check yourself before you try to challenge me." Neither Sophia King nor I had any desire to explain anything in response to Chloe Evans' outburst. After all, Chloe Evans was so arrogant that she believed the world revolved around her. Even if we told her Sophia King was the daughter of the world's wealthiest person, she wouldn't believe it. After saying that, Chloe Evans looked at me mockingly. "Ethan Hayes, I can't believe you found someone like this after leaving me. She even cheats on you when just buying clothes. It turns out people project their own character onto others." Chloe Evans was projecting her own sordidness onto others. Chloe Evans said to me with a confident tone, "Ethan Hayes, I'll say it again. If you just kneel and apologize to me, I'll forgive everything and we can be together again." In response to Chloe Evans' absurd claim, I calmly linked my arm through Sophia King's, smiling as I looked at Chloe Evans, who said, "I'd beg to be with you." "I've always loved Sophia King." "Chloe Evans, stop projecting your dirty mind onto others. It's truly disgusting." A flicker of anger flashed in Chloe Evans' eyes, and she sneered at me. "Ethan Hayes, there's no need for these little games to provoke me." Chloe Evans firmly believed I was still deeply in love with her. She thought my being with someone else was just a little trick to provoke her and create a sense of urgency about me. I looked at Chloe Evans and laughed without the slightest disguise. "Chloe Evans, don't you think you're being incredibly foolish? Our marriage was something you begged me to enter into. Everything you've done has made me completely disgusted with you." Chloe Evans not only had a bad character, but was also foolish. Mr. and Mrs. Evans, considering their daughter's future, arranged for Chloe Evans to marry me without even asking for my opinion. I had loved Chloe Evans during our time together, but she repeatedly hurt me, making me see her ugly true colors completely. I've always just used you as a substitute for Sophia King. First, a look of disbelief flashed in Chloe Evans' eyes, then, upon hearing my next words, her face instantly filled with rage. Ethan Hayes, what do you mean? I said I've always loved Sophia King, and I only married you because you bore a faint resemblance to her. I was telling the truth. Chloe Evans had a faint resemblance to Sophia King, which was why I had slowly fallen in love with her. In the days after Sophia King and I had separated, Chloe Evans had been attentive and caring towards me, and I gradually fell in love with her. Treating her as a substitute for Sophia King, I thought I would be happy, but after we married, Chloe Evans couldn't resist going out and finding other men. Hearing my words, Chloe Evans' face turned incredibly ugly. She suddenly looked strangely pitiful, like a child who had been deceived and finally learned the truth. So I was just her substitute. You've always treated me as her. Chloe Evans stubbornly asked again. Answer me, is that true? I looked at Chloe Evans without an ounce of hesitation. Yes, you have always just been a substitute for Sophia King to me. The look Chloe Evans gave me was enough to kill. Ethan Hayes, you damn well deserve to die. After she finished speaking, she lunged at me. In an instant, Chloe Evans was pinned to the ground by 7 or 8 bodyguards. They stood neatly by, bowing respectfully. Ms. King, Chloe Evans had always been the center of attention, with people revolving around her, unlike today, where she was forcefully pinned to the ground in a humiliating state. She glared fiercely at the security guards holding her down, and roared, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who's next to me? You dare lay a hand on me? Do you have a death wish?" Seeing the situation, the man beside her quickly distanced himself. Ms. King, I am not familiar with this woman. She's been pestering me. The security guards didn't even spare them a glance, instead waiting for Sophia King's instructions. Sophia King swept her gaze over Chloe Evans as if she were trash. Get this trash out of my sight. Chloe Evans tried to struggle and say something, but the security guards gave her no chance to speak. They tossed Chloe Evans out unceremoniously onto the street. Chloe Evans' humiliating state drew passers-by, who pulled out their phones to take pictures and post them on social media. In less than half an hour, the video of Chloe Evans being humiliatingly thrown out of the boutique shot to the trending topics. Back home, I idly scrolled through my phone. Immediately, people in the comments section spoke up, condemning Chloe Evans. What kind of artist is Chloe Evans? She's just a homewrecker. This woman is a slut. She used painting as an excuse and then just slept with my husband. Some even posted a video of Chloe Evans and a powerful figure caught in the act. In the video, Chloe Evans was barely clothed, pinned to the ground and humiliated by the original wife. If no one had said it was her, I would have found it hard to associate that woman with Chloe Evans, who was obsessed with her appearance. Chloe Evans' reputation was ruined overnight, but I knew very well that wealthy and powerful people would never allow a video of them being caught in the act to be leaked. The only possibility was that someone had orchestrated this long ago. Pushing it along from behind the scenes, I put down my phone and turned to look at Sophia King, who was reviewing documents. I kissed Sophia's cheek with quick, light pecks. Thank you, Ms. King, for having my back. Sophia King's face darkened. She reached out a hand and firmly pinched my cheek. Ethan Hayes, have you ever kissed that woman like this? She leaned closer to me, her eyelashes fluttering. Just thinking about you kissing her like that drives me mad with jealousy. I could almost kill you. Instead of directly answering her question, I dispelled her worries with action. I kissed her for a long time before letting go. My fingers traced Sophia King's lips, swollen from our kisses. I've never kissed her with such passion. That was Sophia King. Sometimes she would display her love frantically, with an almost obsessive possessiveness, but I knew she just loved me too much. Hearing my answer, Sophia King didn't completely relax. Instead, she looked at me and asked doubtfully, I really want to know, why did you marry her? I gently ruffled Sophia King's hair and explained, the reason I was with her was because of an arrangement by Mr. and Mrs. Evans. I was in a difficult situation back then, and Chloe Evans helped me a few times. She made me feel as if you were right there beside me. I couldn't control my desire to be close to her. She was like my emotional support. I knew it wasn't right, but I really couldn't help myself. I held Sophia King close and looked at her steadily. We'll never be separated again. I just hadn't expected Kyle Evans' homeroom teacher to call me. The teacher's anxious voice came through the phone. Kyle's dad, please come to the school immediately. Kyle got into a fight with another kid. Before I could say anything, Kyle's loud and disdainful voice came through the phone. He's not my dad anymore. I don't have a worthless dad like him. Kyle had always considered me a worthless good-for-nothing, because other kids his age came from families where the father worked and the mother stayed home. But with Kyle, it was the opposite. His mother was rarely seen more than a few times a week, while I was the one bustling around, catering to his every need. In Kyle's mind, he naturally believed that Chloe Evans was the one who went out to earn money, and that I, his incompetent dad, was only fit to stay home and take care of him. This was also why he disliked me more and more. But what he didn't know was that Chloe Evans' love for him was incredibly shallow. She'd rather go partying and indulging in pleasures with other men than take care of him. Hearing Kyle say that, I said without hesitation, Ms. Davis, you heard him. As Kyle said, I am no longer his father, so no matter what happens to him, please don't bother me again. Ms. Davis was about to say something else, but Kyle snatched the phone and roared at me, Hayes, don't think I'll stop hating you just because you say that. You're the person I hate most in this world, and I'll never see you again. With that, he hung up the phone. I tossed the phone onto the nearby couch, and felt a wave of relief. Kyle wasn't my biological child anyway, and for years I had diligently catered to him, only to be met with nothing but disdain instead of gratitude. I might as well have been raising an ingrate, and I couldn't be happier to stop providing for him. All of Kyle's expenses were paid by me. Aside from the first few days after Kyle was born, Chloe Evans never cared for him again. I didn't know why Kyle was like that. Even though Chloe Evans showed him very little affection, he still thought she was the best mother in the world. Perhaps people value what they can't have the most. Life returned to normal, because Sophia King and I had been indulging in our affections for the past few days. The previously developed agricultural products had been delayed. If this experiment succeeded, the national agricultural yield would double. With dark circles under my eyes, I finished the last part, then excitedly jumped up and rushed immediately to the company to secure the technology. Before I could even take a sip of hot coffee, I overheard my colleagues gossiping. Did you hear? That famous female painter, Chloe Evans, was caught on camera engaging in passionate acts on the highway. It was posted online and drew a large crowd. Are you talking about the Chloe Evans who was with Mr. Hayes? No way. That's just too ridiculous. A colleague nearby saw me and nudged his still chattering companion. The man looked embarrassed when he saw me and tried to explain something. Mr. Hayes, I smiled. It's fine. Enjoy the drama. I've already divorced her. My colleague, who had been tense, finally relaxed. Mr. Hayes, you should have divorced that woman long ago. I am truly happy to see you've come to your senses. I gave a candid smile and waved goodbye to them. After several sleepless nights, all I wanted to do was catch up on sleep. I didn't expect to run into Chloe Evans, who was out shopping, carrying a limited edition handbag with a man who looked like a rich second-generation heir standing beside her. Oh, look, if it isn't my worthless ex-husband. You were so confident before. I thought you'd landed a sugar mommy. Why are you still looking so shabby? At that moment, I was a bit disheveled from staying up late and rushing to the company without time to tidy myself up. As my ex-husband, I think it's necessary for you to meet my current boyfriend. My boyfriend is Chad Wilson, Mr. Wilson's son and the sole heir to the Wilson family. Hearing Chloe Evans' declaration, I nearly burst out laughing. If this man in front of me was Chad Wilson, then who was the Chad Wilson who had asked to meet me just a few days ago? I strained my lips to hold back a laugh. Congratulations to you both. I wish you a long and happy marriage, with many children. Chloe Evans got into the man's sports car and vanished from my sight. Because my innovative cultivation technology was unprecedented globally, the entire country took it seriously, and I was specially invited to participate in a top-tier science and technology academic summit. But I never expected to run into Chloe Evans even there. Only, she was working as a service staff member, greeting people at the entrance. When she saw me, she grabbed me without a word. Ethan Hayes, do you really think you belong in a place like this? Can you stop stalking me and showing up in front of me? There's really no future for us. Can you please not interfere with my work? Before I could say anything, the host nearby loudly reprimanded Chloe Evans. What are you doing? Mr. Hayes is our special guest, the founder of Agritech Solutions. Do you want to lose your job by disrespecting him? Impossible. After learning my identity, Chloe Evans' expression shifted from disbelief to shock. Ethan Hayes, why didn't you tell me you were the founder of Agritech Solutions? I scoffed. Does it matter? Ignoring her, I led Sophia King into the summit. Throughout the event, I calmly explained the advanced aspects and functions of the technology, and everyone was filled with admiration. From that moment on, my existence became known to everyone in the world. After learning my identity, Chloe Evans always tried every trick in the book to appear before me. This time, she even brought the same man from last time. Ethan, believe me, I've always loved you. If this man hadn't interfered between us, we wouldn't have ended up like this today. The man angrily shook off Chloe Evans. Oh, Chloe Evans, you tricked me into coming here for dinner just to explain yourself to your ex-husband and push all the blame onto me, didn't you? Stop pushing the blame on me. Don't you have any self-awareness? If you weren't so promiscuous and unfaithful, seducing me, would I even have looked your way? What did you say? Enraged, Chloe Evans slapped the man. The man didn't tolerate Chloe Evans' behavior. He immediately pushed her down and forcefully pinned her to the ground. Finally, I couldn't bear to watch and called the police. After that incident, Chloe Evans stopped pestering me. I don't know why, but suddenly, Chloe Evans' private photos and videos began circulating wildly online. The comments under the videos were all curses directed at Chloe Evans. I wasn't surprised by this outcome at all. The moment Chloe Evans said that man was Chad Wilson, I secretly sent people to investigate him. I learned that the man made a living by selling obscene content, specifically creating the image of a wealthy playboy to deceive gold-digging women, secretly taking their photos and videos. After learning the man's true identity, I had no desire to tell Chloe Evans. It was all her own doing. For his crimes, the man couldn't escape 7 years in prison. Life returned to normal. One day, after finishing work, I returned home. The elevator door opened on the floor where my apartment was located, and I had just stepped out. A shadowy figure suddenly lunged at me, pushing me forcefully against the wall. I cried out in pain. Looking up, I recognized Chloe Evans, and holding back my irritation, I brushed off my clothes, ready to leave. I really didn't want anything more to do with her. I had only taken a few steps when Chloe Evans blocked my path. Chloe lunged at me, brazenly trying to cover my mouth. Chloe Evans had clearly been drinking. The heavy scent of alcohol hung in the air. Without hesitation, I pushed her away. She fell to the ground, tears in her eyes, looking utterly vulnerable. Before seeing Chloe Evans in such a state, I would have undoubtedly felt sorry for her. Chloe Evans bit her lip, tears in her eyes, and demanded, Ethan Hayes, why did you push me away? Didn't you used to love me so much? I scoffed. You said it yourself. Used to. We are divorced now, have some self-respect. I had only taken a few steps when Chloe Evans crawled over and grabbed my legs, refusing to let me leave. Sobbing uncontrollably, she pleaded, Ethan, can we please get back together? Since you left, I've realized you are the only one who truly cared for me. Those awful men just wanted to use my body. I'm begging you, please don't leave me. I'm sick, and if I don't get treatment, I'll die. Chloe Evans had only come to me because she was sick and had no money. Sophia King appeared beside me at some point, her perfectly tailored suit accentuating her tall, capable figure, giving her an unexpectedly bold air. When Chloe Evans' gaze landed on Sophia King's face, a clear sense of alarm flashed in her eyes. Sophia King strode towards me, taking my hand in a possessive gesture, and looked at Chloe Evans provocatively. Ms. Evans, is there something you need with my partner? Chloe Evans scoffed at Sophia King, saying, Who are you? I advise you not to be so arrogant. I'm Ethan's true love, so you'd better know your place. Sophia King didn't care who she was. Anyone who coveted what was hers deserved to be scorned. She retorted mercilessly, Ms. Evans, you really have too much time on your hands. No wonder people say you are good for nothing but being a mistress. You. Sophia King paid no mind to Chloe Evans' flushed, angry face, and led me home by the hand. As if by magic, Sophia King pulled a delicate box from her pocket and cooed, Baby, I bought you a tie. How are you going to reward me? I reached out and playfully ruffled Sophia King's hair. The best, honey. How about I cook you something delicious? The door closed behind me, but I didn't look back. Yet, I still heard the wistful, lost murmur from behind me. But you clearly learned to cook for me back then. I had thought Sophia King and I would continue to be happy like this. I never expected that afternoon. A man claiming to be Victor Sterling, Sophia King's fiancé, would find me. The man sized me up with an extremely arrogant gaze. I've seen too many men like you, willing to use any means to climb the social ladder. By marrying into a wealthy family, he produced a check. Here's 20 million, leave Sophia King. I didn't take the check he offered, but spoke without hesitation. I wasn't aware that you and Sophia King had an engagement, and I'm not as despicable as you think. An undeniable sadness welled up inside me. I laughed bitterly. You don't have to worry, I will leave Sophia King. The man across from me clearly didn't believe my words. Are you sure you are really going to leave her? And not pull some tricks? I made up my mind, taking a deep breath to calm myself. Don't worry, I'll leave. Seeing the undeniable sadness in my eyes, the man believed what I said. Getting up, I turned to leave. He called out to me, waving the check in his hand. 20 million, are you sure you don't want it? I shook my head and left the coffee shop. Back at the apartment, a wave of grief washed over me. I furiously started smashing things in the house, venting my anger. I felt profoundly deceived. I had been completely fooled. Like an idiot, exhausted from the smashing, I slowly crouched down and hugged myself. I cleaned everything up before Sophia King returned, and as always, took her jacket. When she took it off, she didn't notice anything amiss and came over to kiss my forehead. I didn't sleep that night. Watching her sleep soundly, I got up and dragged the packed luggage from under the bed. Restless and sleepless, I relocated to the unfamiliar riverside city, moving my company's headquarters there as well. But things are always difficult at first. One issue would be resolved only for another to arise. After a meeting today, following 5 hours of continuous overtime, I collapsed into sleep like an exhausted dog. Working day and night had aged my once youthful face considerably. The day after signing a contract with a client, a cold voice spoke behind me. It was a voice I knew all too well. The contract was signed. After a brief, non-committal exchange, I quickly tried to leave, but the person behind me grabbed my arm. Everyone was stunned, their gazes scrutinizing us. Sophia King's eyes fixed on me, glaring intensely. Ethan Hayes, you've left without a word a second time. Her face showed faint bruises. She clearly hadn't rested well. When she saw my slightly reddened eyes, her tone instantly softened. I'm sorry, it's all my fault for not making myself clear. Then, disregarding the onlookers, she took my hand, holding it as if I were a precious treasure. I have no relationship with that man at all. He just spread rumors that he and I had an engagement to expand his group, and I've already sued him. Seeing my lack of reaction, Sophia King stepped back from me. She saw my tear-streaked face and looked flustered. Please don't cry anymore. It's all my fault. All my fault. The others present, having never witnessed such a scene, quietly retreated, leaving Sophia King and me alone. A few months later, Sophia King and I held our wedding, but in the wedding car, I received a call from Ashley, Chloe Evans' friend. A tense voice came through the phone. Ethan, Chloe got into a car accident, and she keeps calling your name. Can you please come see her? I pursed my lips and, without thinking, refused. I'm sorry. I'm getting married today, so I can't come. Don't call me again. Chloe Evans and I have nothing to do with each other anymore. The person on the other end seemed shocked by my immediate rejection. Ethan, how can you be so heartless? Even if Chloe did many things to hurt you before, she still cares about you, cares about me. She'd mess around with other men without considering my feelings. The other side didn't give up trying to persuade me to see Chloe Evans, adding, I often see Chloe staring blankly at her phone, waiting for your reply. Now you won't even see her. You are truly heartless. I cut her off. Stop, stop. Her car accident wasn't my fault. I'm getting married today. Don't bother me. With that, I turned off my phone. At the wedding chapel, Sophia King walked slowly towards me, as beautiful as a princess. The moment Sophia King was about to put the wedding ring on my finger, Chloe Evans rushed in. She was covered in blood, with raw skin exposed from her scratches, a horrific sight. She gazed at me blankly, her eyes filled with pleading and despair. Ethan, please don't marry her. Kyle Evans, standing beside her with tears in his eyes, also spoke. Dad, can you please come back? I promise I won't make you angry anymore. Please don't abandon Mom and me. I shook my head, looking at Chloe Evans and Kyle Evans, my gaze firm. Chloe Evans, I am utterly disappointed in you. Don't bother me anymore. Turning to Kyle Evans, whose face was covered in tears and snot, I said. I am not your biological father. You are your mother's child with someone else, and you have nothing to do with me from now on. Upon hearing my words, Kyle Evans cried even harder, in disbelief. Mom, is what Dad said true? Chloe Evans' eyes held guilt and panic. Silly child, your dad is just joking with you. At this moment, Sophia King stepped forward. Ms. Evans, your child is not my husband's to begin with. A man was then led out from the side, and Sophia King pointed to the handcuffed man. He's the child's father. After recognizing the man's face, Chloe Evans seemed to lose all strength, her face turning pale. Kyle Evans and Chloe Evans were humiliatingly escorted out by the security guards. I gently slipped the wedding ring onto Sophia King's finger, my eyes filled with irrepressible joy. Sophia King, I've finally married you. Amidst the cheers of the crowd, I tenderly kissed her lips. Sophia King gave birth to a son and a daughter, and our lives were happy. Chloe Evans, however, never changed her reckless and unrestrained nature, spending her days partying all day and night. Additionally, with no money for medical treatment, her health completely deteriorated, and she was forced to beg for a living. Because of this, Chloe Evans would constantly hit or verbally abuse Kyle Evans. Kyle Evans was also ostracized by others because of Chloe Evans, making his inner self even more twisted. Ultimately, he murdered Chloe Evans. I was engrossed in the recent news reports about Kyle and Chloe Evans, so much so that I didn't even notice Sophia King approach. What? Are you still thinking about her? I snapped my head up. Of course not. During our playful struggle, my jacket slipped, revealing the lingerie strap underneath. My breathing visibly quickened. I scooped her up into my arms. Sophia King repeatedly pounded my chest. Put me down. Let go. I slapped her backside threateningly. Save your strength. You'll be screaming soon enough.